The guy who lost his memory after a surgery. He becomes someone else who set himself free. First of all, he mistook the doctor his first love. Ju-yun's mind is filled with his words, "My first love." She thought something was wrong with the surgery. "Hello, my first love." He said I was his first love. I must have misheard it. "Hi, my first love." He is a genius. To protect his younger brother from getting hurt, he shielded his brother with his body and it caused his wrist broken. Even though he was still the champion of the tournament, his career also ended there. From then on, his life is a series of bad luck. To foster his talent, his father hired an Australian coach for him and they paid him with their whole retirement money as a deposit, so that they couldn't afford the Hug hospital fees. Thus, they let Lee Goon live with his grandma in the countryside to access to health insurance. Secondly, they decided to send Lee Shin to study abroad instead of Lee Goon. They didn't want him to shock him. Yet, he heard everything behind the door. Knowing that his parents wanted to forsake him, he packed it up and ran after them. "Please don't forsake me, let me go with you." His parents did hear him, yet, they still asked the driver to speed up. Lee Goon got a fall when he reached the bridge. His medal fell into the river. He wanted to pick it up. Yet, he fell into the river due to his injured right arm. Luckily, a little girl in the same village saved his life. 15 years later, Lee Goon loses his vitality when he is fully grown up. He has lived with mental breakdown and low self-esteem. He even doesn't dare to attend the class meeting. He has a self-conflict whether to go as he might see his first love there. She's the one who saved his life. Before reaching the airport gate, Goon's parents Lee Shin now is a famous tennis player. Compared to him, Lee Goon is no one. To help Lee Shin break through from the blockade of fans, Goon disguises as his brother. Life is so ironic. Lee Goon should have been the one. Now, he is working for his brother. Lee Goon bumped into Ju-yun. They took one another's luggage by mistake. His life is going to change after the encounter. Ju-yun is a psychiatrist. For the last 10 years, she has developed a project titled Bad Memory Eraser. It's used for a memory eraser. A while ago, her research achieved amazing achievement. Test piece number 107 lost appetite and spirit after being electric shock. However, it recently regained appetite after the latest experiment. She's about to publish the experiment result to call for invested capital. At that time, she figures out that her suitcase was swapped. She calls Lee Goon for an exchange. Yet, his phone number is busy all the time. That drives her mad. He expresses his boredom all day long, so his parents give him a scold. However, Lee Goon only replies to them with only 3 words. "I am sorry." Don't say sorry all the time. You do nothing wrong. His low self-esteem makes him feel like he's nothing in his parents' heart. The position their heart is in order. She's the second and her husband is the third, and now he's just like a pot lining. A bowl is given to him. As he says he doesn't like steamed meat in the soup, his mother gives him shredded chicken. When he happily thinks he still has a place in their hearts, his mother words bring him back to earth. Feed Coca. He realizes that he can't be compared with a dog. Can't stand it. Goon jostles with the dog for food. He tells him that his parents are another species and he's just an abandoned dog. Unexpectedly, Coca really gets mad. He spits at Goon. After dinner, Lee Goon drives Lee Shin to the sport agency for renewing the contract. Cha Seon realized him. She is Lee Goon's fan. Seon thinks Goon is an athlete working in the same agency. Lee Goon doesn't deny immediately due to his pride. When the CEO Hong Junman comes, he doesn't give Goon even a glance. However, he's very attentive to Seon, who is well-loved. What an awkward situation. At that time, Lee Shin is coming, and not to give his brother a burden, he pretends to see nothing then changes the topic. Shin asks Goon to buy him an iced Americano. Lee Goon does what he asks with a feeling of inferiority. He believes that Shin always bosses him around. At that point in time, Ju-yun gives him a call. He asks for her address and promises to send it back to her within a week. Then he hangs up the phone. Ju-yun grows cross. When Lee Goon brings the iced Americano to the meeting room, Junman throws him a file and asks him to photocopy it. Before leaving, he claims that data is just figure. Analysis following the system is more important. Cha Seon can't sit still. She asks him to analyze it on the spot. Glancing at Junman, Lee Goon speaks when Junman allows. Based on the opaque report, Lee Goon can tell that Seon once had an injured knee. Junman gets mad with his words. Junman has an offensive attitude to Goon so far. He blames Goon for gallows humor about an athlete. Junman even spits out that Goon is a loser living on Lee Shin. Knowing the truth, Sion changes her attitude. OMG, I thought you're a genius. But you're just a loser. Lee Goon has a very severe headache. It's the effect after the sequela. He feels pain in his arm and walks out of the building. Can't wait for any longer. Ju-Yun keeps sending him voice message. After a few voice message of anger, she begins to beg him. She hopes he'll reply to her message. At that time, she gets a call from a nurse. There's a patient with injured arm. She can't get it. Why did her call a psychiatrist like her? Turns out he's Professor Han's patient. As Han isn't there, they ask for her help. Ju-Yun can tell that Lee Goon feels the pain due to his mental problem. It's probably a fake pain due to the after effect. Lee Goon still asks her to give him painkiller. She pinches his back of a hand. He asks her in pain what she's doing. It helps him forget his painful arm. Ju-Yun doesn't care about what he's been through. Yet, he can use his good memory to heal himself and erase the bad one. For example, be brave to find his first love. Lee Goon wonders if his good memory is turned into the bad one. Can you be responsible for it? She can't respond to him. It makes her feel curious about him. Looking at his profile, she realizes he's the one whom she's looking for. She chases after him, but he disappears. Thus, she sends a voice message of apology to him. Though she can't heal his pain, she's ready to talk to him when he needs. Hearing her message, Lee Goon claims he'll bring her suitcase to the hospital tomorrow. The next day, Lee Shin finds an invitation to Lee Goon in the bag. Goon is invited to a class meeting. Lee Shin expresses his envy of Lee Goon. As Shin has no friends in South Korea after a long time living in Australia, he wonders if Goon wants them to get there together. It makes Goon feel even worse. Lee Shin says no more words. He comes to see Professor Han and asks for the meds that he usually take. Shin wants Han to keep it from his coach. During their talk, Han accidentally spills the drink. Somehow, Lee Shin catches sight of the Project Bad Memory Eraser. Can the curiosity really help people forget their bad memories? The professor explains that it's actually a deception. It can hide the bad memories. Lee Shin is deep in though then comes up with an idea. In the meantime, Ju-Yun is preparing for a capital raising. Something unexpected happens. The very important test piece 07 has escaped from the cage. It causes a mess through the corridor. When she uses food to catch it, Lee Goon passes by in his car. The light stimulates the test piece. It gets out through the door. There's a sound of crumble and break. Her research findings after a decade vanish. Lee Goon thinks it's just her pet. So he offers to buy her another one. Losing control of herself, Ju-Yun speaks to him with harsh words. How can you be careless with a life? She even criticizes him for her words torment his mind. He skips dinner and leaves home so that he doesn't know Mom prepares dried chicken for him. Neither know Lee Shin actually protected him earlier. I won't renew the contract. I can't let you use me for your money bag. Lee Goon decides to drown himself in the water. His heart stops beating twice on the way to the hospital. His family know even if Goon can stay alive, his future won't be better. Thus, they agree to let Ju-Yun perform her experiment on him. Ju-Yun is happy with that. She thought to lose the chance of being invested, yet, it'll be successful. Experiments on human bodies are more accurate than on animals. After the surgery, all of his bad memory is erased. However, the look of the little girl who saved his life is carved in his mind. When he wakes up, Ju-Yun asks if he remembers her. Surprisingly, Lee Goon hugs her. Do you remember me? He loses all of his self-esteem. What he says startles her. Hi, my first love. He makes Hi as family mad next. His mother wonders if he remembers them. They get scared with his question. Are you sculptors? You gave birth and raised such a handsome guy like me. You're the sculptors. She questions if he remembers his injury. Lee Goon is self-satisfied checking his body. Look at my long legs. Everything is so fine. Suddenly, he screams out, freaking his family. They think he feels pain or something. Lee Goon's worried that his handsome face gets some flaws. Ju-Yun is trying to find out who is his first love in the records. She collapses when she can't find out the reason why he thought she was his first love. Could it be the side effects? She's about to find Lee Goon to confirm it. All of his family members are in the room. She'll be screwed if there's any problem. Thereby, she decides to keep silent until she makes everything clear. She is dragged to a small room when walking in the hospital. Lee Goon is like a male peacock. He wonders if she likes him as she found him earlier. Ju-yeon has her heart in her mouth. She explains that she's just his doctor and she isn't his first love. Lee-gun doesn't buy into her. He confidently claims that no one can forget his handsome face. When he finds everything hard to believe, a young girl speaks on the phone with a voice of easy virtue. She wants the listener to give her a massage. When being asked if she wants a lip massage, she denies. Somewhere lower, Lee-gun starts imagining. What are you thinking? I want you to give me a calf massage. Oh, just a calf massage. A voice startles her. She can't open the door. Ju-yeon asks Lee-gun to let go of the door knob. Lee-gun wants to know if she isn't shameful staying with him alone in an enclosed room. Ju-yeon replies, "We're just talking in a quiet place as a doctor and a patient. I'm not afraid." But when Lee-gun is going to open the door, Tae-oh, her crush, just arrives. The unexpected situation helps her realize that though Lee-gun's bad memory was successfully erased, his muscle is still affected by the injury. She wonders why he doesn't use his right hand. "I just need to use one hand to open it." Myung and Tae-oh are about to call the guards. Ju-yeon freaks out. To protect her innocence, she requires him to hide in the laundry basket. Lee-gun is a bit sick of being clean, so he firmly refuses. Out of choice, Ju-yeon wants to play rock, scissors, and paper. When the guard is going to open the door, Ju-yeon gets out pretending to talk on the phone. She successfully fools them. Lee-gun's mother doesn't see her son in the room, so she asks the nurses, but they don't know where he is. Lee-gun returns home and soaks in the bathtub. He mistakes his room and Lee Shin's. His fashion style changes. He likes colorful outfits. Coca attracts his attention. "It's not your fault if you're ugly, but it's yours if you don't take care of yourself." As soon as Lee Shin gets him, Coca asks for his help. When Lee Shin doesn't call Gun Hyung, he makes Shin call him Hyung. Next, he aims at Coca. Lee-gun orders Lee Shin to train Coca, as he doesn't welcome Gun home. If Coca doesn't welcome him next time, he'll let the pet sleep outdoor regardless of weather. His whole family makes up good memory for him. His mother answers his questions and his father lies to him that there are many girls flirting with him. But he doesn't know what to do when opening the suitcase, because it's full of women belongings. Not only women but many men also like you. Lee-gun feels self-satisfied when his dad says so. That's what he believes. He's even sure that his parents are happy to have a perfect son like him. Coming to the garage, he thinks Lee Shin's sport car is his. He drives to the hospital for the meds without turning his head. What's wrong with him? Ju-yeon lets Professor Han know that Lee-gun's memory is messed up. She wants to tell Gun the truth and stops her experiment. Professor Han doesn't agree. It's so hard to get the approval of the Office of Government Ethics. Besides, he witnesses how tough Lee-gun grew up. Now, it's time for Gun to start over. So he demands Ju-yeon to keep silent and find the cause. Ju-yeon is talking to her mother on the phone. Her mother hopes she won't leave messy around her office. Ju-yeon is caught, then she hastily clear it up. Her mother keeps complaining that Ju-yeon is such an excellent girl but her chest are flat. Unable to hear it, Ju-yeon talks back to her mother. Without noticing that Lee-gun is in her office, she immediately hangs up the phone. Lee-gun glibly asks her why she talks to his mother-in-law like that. Then he takes out a warm bottle of milk from his pocket. As Ju-yeon doesn't remember him, he confidently says it's enough as he remembers. Lee Shin told Cha Seon that Lee-gun was hospitalized, so she brings a tennis racket to her former idol as a gift. Also, she wonders why he lost his medal. Her question is like a key to the Pandora box. He gets a glimpse of the previous memories. The severe headache causes a faint. Lee-gun's best friend pays him a visit at the hospital. An unknown secret is revealed. There's another reason why Lee-gun drowned himself in the river. Before his jump, he attended the class meeting. He saw his lost medal and the girl who brought it there. She's also the one who saved his life. The only one who gave him a hand when everyone turned their back at him. That was the reason why he continued his life. But when he caught up with her in the parking lot, he saw her with her boyfriend. The thing is that her boyfriend is Lee Shin, who takes away everything of him. Feeling so wretched, he confided it with his best friend. Ju-yeon doesn't know that Lee-gun is so poor. At the same time, she realizes the memory of his first love becomes a bad one. Hence, he mistook her with his first love. Visiting Lee-gun, Ju-yeon heard another part of the reason from his mother. At the same night, his grandma sent him his favorite crabs. Yet, his mother only gave them to Lee Shin. It made Lee-gun feel hurt even more. He snatched Li Xin's crab. His mother wasn't happy, but she didn't say a word. Li Gun even snatched one more crab. Can't hold it back, she gave him a scold. She reminds him that everything in this house, including the food, are bought by Li Xin. What's special about those crabs? His father expressed his agreement with his wife. Your brother has had a strict diet recently. Why do you get angry at him? The family conflict broke out at the same time. Without Xin, you can't even have a job. I'm your son, not a scumbag. His anger blazed up by their harsh words. He stood up and raised his voice. Treat us fair at least, even if in one thing. Do you know what I buy around the year? It's umbrella, because no one gimme one when it rains. However, he didn't let them know about his first love. His mother blamed him for saying those words. Thinking of it, she admits not to fulfill her duty as a mother. She is thankful when Li Gun lost those memories. It's another chance for her to be a good mother. When Li Gun wakes up, he picks up the tennis racket again. He feels exhausted after just a few strikes. Shedding tears alone with himself, he believes it's because he hasn't played it for a long time. Ju Yun says he can start it over, whether it's sport or love. At that time, a ball is thrown. To protect Ju Yun, Gun catches the ball with his injured right hand. That means the pain he wants to cure for the last 15 years is gone at that moment. Ju Yun makes a choice whether she should stop her experiment or not. With the pride of a doctor, she believes that she can heal this guy. Therefore, she admits to be his first love. She has no idea that it'll cause a disaster. Since when Li Gun finds his first love of 5 years ago, he keeps acting weird. For example, he suddenly appears with a bouquet. He also gives her an umbrella when it rains. She sees him everywhere when she turns around. If he keeps acting this way, she won't be able to claim her innocence. Please don't act that away. Don't propose to me. When Teo is coming, she swears to cut off a connection with Li Gun. I have a boyfriend. Actually, Li Gun made friends with her colleagues, so he knows she's been single so far. Ju Yun keeps calm and comes up with another excuse. She lies that she just begins a relationship. Teo doesn't know he has a new position. While Gun is having physiotherapy exercises, he sees her walking with Teo. He gets so jealous. Yet, he denies it to Gukbong that he isn't. His body says different when they're leaving. He stays behind them when they're talking. He figures out that she is blind in love. Teo gives her a cheap Eiffel towel decorative. But he buys a golden pendant for himself. How annoying. How can she consider it a couple look? Getting mad, Li Gun throws his shoes at Teo. He wants to help her know who is truly sincere to her. Li Gun sets a banquet in the canteen. But he doesn't invite Ju Yun over. He praises every single dish. He only boggles her mind as he bothers her date with Teo. Turn around, she doesn't see Teo next to her. Turns out he takes a seat opposite Li Gun. He strikes a conversation with Gun. That's what Gun wants to show her. Once it's done, he clears the dishes on the table. He decides to visit his company when he fully gets recovered. Once he arrives, he speaks loudly. I'm back, guys. No one cares about him. He confidently enters the meeting room, ignoring their glances. He even bought them drinks and fruits. Junman places his legs on the table, showing his authority. Li Gun is a completely different person. He ties up Junman's shoelaces and hopes everyone enjoy. Junman is stunned by his attitude. He wonders if Gun lost his mind. Li Gun talks about his memory loss. He even tells Junman not to worry as he's still capable at work. After that, he glances at the clock and asks everyone to work hard. Then he excuses to leave. Junman madly questions him. Do you want to be paid without working? So he makes an excuse to check on Gun's abilities. Li Gun is asked to have Cha Xian agree to enter a contract with the agency. Returning to the hospital, Li Gun finds the nurse. He learns something interesting when she talks about Tae Ho. The other workers in the hospital also got the same Eiffel towel decorative as Ju Yun. Teo bought them on his business trip as gifts, and he waited until their birthdays to give it to them. He always said it was his special gift for them. At night, Li Gun sees Teo flirting with another girl. He's very unhappy with that. Going to the consulting room, Gun sees Ju Yun dozing off. Li Gun lets her rest on his arm when she keeps nodding repeatedly out of satisfaction. He is watching her silently. Can't control himself, he gets closer to her. Still, he can still hold himself back. He's curious about memory eraser when he catches sight of the documents on the table. Luckily, Ju Yun wakes up in time. They get a jumpy looking into each other's eyes. When Ju-yun is sure that he hasn't read it yet, she sighs with relief. Lee Goon wants to have a supper with her. As she refuses, he uses the wish that she promised him. Turns out when they were stuck in the small room, they played rock scissors paper to see who will have to hide in the laundry basket. Ju-yun lost the game. By chance, Lee Goon cleverly lets her know she is bad at judging character. She simply thinks that the mango is too sour to eat. Then she shows him that Tae-oh sent her 12 texts a day. Lee Goon doesn't give up. He draws a heart on her smoky glasses. Soon, she'll feel like that looking at him. Waking up in the next morning, she can feel someone next to her. Pulling the blanket out, she gets a jumpy. A strange girl is lying next to her. It's daughter of her mother's friend, who'll stay there for a month. Ju-yun is so amazed at Sae-yen's communication skill. Within just a day, she wins the hearts of Ju-yun's parents. The neighbors also like her. When Ju-yun comes to the hospital, she can't find the small gift that Tae-oh gave her. Ju-yun recalled the incident yesterday when she met Lee Shin. She lies on the road to stop the running balls. Maybe she lost it at that time. Actually, she threw it into Lee Shin's bag by herself. She's searching for it around the spot of the incident. Ju-yun wants to check the manhole near there. No matter she tries, she can't move the manhole cover. Lee Goon comes near. Ju-yun asks if he sees her Eiffel towel decorative. Lee Goon claims it's way too cheap, so he promises to buy her another one. It's about cheap or expensive. The one who gave it is important. Tae-oh is flirting with Min-young in the car. He tells her not to worry because he'll ask Ju-yun to help him do Min-young's task. In exchange, he wants her kiss. Lee Goon hears them when parking next to them. He deliberately splashes water over Tae-oh's car. On the way back, he sees Ju-yun still trying to find the decorative and she's feeling cold. He throws the exactly same one on the grass. When Ju-yun questions him, he lies that he stole it due to his jealousy. Ju-yun texts Tae-oh, asking what he's doing. Lee Goon wants to put his cardigan on her. Pausing for a moment, he just throws it at her and claims that it's hot. Ju-yun isn't thankful for him. She just wants to get back to hospital. To prevent her from seeing Tae-oh kissing Min-young, Lee Goon holds her back and makes her promise him. No matter what happens, do not cry or feel hurt. Lee Shin is summoned to the police station. He told them about Goon's jump from his view. When Lee Goon exchanged words with his mother, Lee Shin followed his brother with worry. When Goon sat down on the bridge, he thought he should leave his brother alone. Thus, he turned away. Taking a few steps away, he heard a jump. Turning around, Lee Shin didn't see his brother there. He hastily ran to the bridge foot and called the rescue team. Lee Shin brought Lee Goon to the shore before the rescue team arrived. According to his statement, he reached the bridge foot first. He couldn't save someone in such a short time. Junman comes in time to help Shin out. Ji-sun is very strong. She doesn't care about her first son, Lee Goon. But she controls Lee Shin's life every day until he goes to bed. She even gives him a really tight schedule. During his practice, she'll get mad if he spends time autographing. He expresses his severe OCD when arranging the bottles of vitamin neatly in row. Ju-yun can realize that some athletes suffer from it because they want to live up to the people's expectation. Lee Shin names those whom he can't let down. Except for himself. Which means he's never lived for himself. So far, he has lived for people. Actually, Lee Shin is a very warm guy. Due to his mother's tight schedule, he missed chances to give his fans autographs. It's a mess in the classroom. But when Gukbong come the next day, everything is arranged neatly. When Tae-oh is kissing Min-young, he catches sight of Lee Goon hanging around Ju-yun. So he appears to help her out. He sighs with relief when Min-young already left. However, Ju-yun considers his action discourteous. He can't be compared to Tae-oh, who is perfect. Tae-oh asks for her help Min-young do all her tasks. Once Ju-yun agrees, he continues having fun with Min-young. Without caring about hungry Ju-yun, she wants Ho have a supper with him. Lee Goon feels so bad for her watching all this. You're ready to help someone do her task, as Tae-oh requested. It's not even his business. Lee Goon hopes she won't do such a silly thing. She speaks with an ironical voice that he crosses the line. Taking the decorative as a reason, she blames him for acting with selfishness. She gives him a slap before he can explain it. A man who cares about his image like Goon now is speechless. The pain in his heart is worse than the wound on his face. When Ju-yun finishes Min-young's task, she finds a box of band-aids in the drawer. Hanging off for a while, she decides not to give it to Lee Goon. Back to her desk, she gets a hot coffee. It's attached with a note. Go home for a rest. Teo. Ju-yeon happily enjoys it. She has no idea that it's actually from Lee Goon. Lee Shin sees Koka sleeping outdoor after a run. It's because Goon returns home. Lee Shin wonders why he leaves Koka outdoor. Lee Goon replies, he barks at me. Ha ha ha, is he putting his spite out on the world? Lee Goon stands up and Lee Shin has to cover Koka's eyes. Leaving the bathroom, Lee Goon lets himself down. He puts on Shin's clothes and spends his money. Next, he even takes Shin's luxury car for a spin with Gukbong. Gukbong is very expecting. Lee Goon is still confident when he drives an old car. Even the traffic police questions about its quality. Gukbong is very shy. Seyen can't reach Lee Shin on the phone. She scratches his photo on the beer can. Turning on TV, she realizes he's entering competitions. In the waiting room, Junman wants Lee Shin puts on the sneaker given by the sponsors. Lee Shin refuses as new shoes will blister his ankles. Thus, Junman uses Lee Goon to threaten him. Junman runs into Lee Goon when he gets out of the waiting room. He reminds Goon of the contract with Cha Seon. Lee Goon believes it's a small thing. Goon's parents told him that he was a manager before losing his memory. Therefore, he talks to Cha Seon with confidence. Goon is confident to convince her. Yet, he can't even speak a full sentence to her. Fortunately, Seon is his fan. She asks him to team up with her and compete with her coach. She'll agree to enter a contract if they win even just a round. Lee Goon agrees without thinking. Lee Goon starts the game with a professional pose and move. Yet, his first strike hits Seon's pape. The next strikes are no different, which drives Seon mad. She throws his racket and scolds him. Lee Shin is on the last minutes of the match. With his excellent skill, he wins the game. Everyone cheers for him. Meanwhile, Lee Goon finally catches a ball after so many times trying. He lies on the ground with satisfaction. His palm is bleeding. Seyen sees so many posters of Lee Shin around the stadium. His smile annoys her, so he draws on it. Turning around, she notices someone. Lee Goon asks her to stay still. He looks at himself on her mirror. He still looks perfect with a sweaty face. When the staff come, she asks them if Lee Shin is still there. Yet, they take her away after seeing her drawing on the poster. Lee Shin's heels are scratched due to the new shoes. He covers it from his mother's eyes. Ji-sun doesn't speak with nice words. She only blames him for lower speed as the result of his distraction on practice. At that time, Ju-yeon hears them. She's there to catch Lee Goon. Junman lets her know that Lee Goon has come home. She bumps into Lee Shin at the mart. She thinks they're just normal eggs, but Lee Shin is too much when he almost cries. They're his lucky eggs. He always prepares 2 eggs before each match. They're just broken. It's probably that he'll lose tomorrow. Ju-yeon tells him not to be superstitious. Lee Shin whispers that he won't get 100 million won as a reward if he loses. It also means that he'll lose 10,000 fans. Plus the advertise fee and sponsor, the total damage is nearly 1 billion won. Lee Shin adds that his career will end if he is injured. To ensure him, she has to do what he asks to remove the bad omen. They come to an eatery for tteokbokki. However, he only watches her enjoy the dish. He wants her to review it. After that, he takes her to a bakery and insists her to have a bite of mint cake. He expects it and she enjoys the cake. Staring at the cake, he claims that when he doesn't need to keep his diet. Ju-yeon then realizes he takes her there to try what he isn't allowed, and she persuades him to live for himself. At that time, his alarm rings. It's time for practice that his mother sets. He helps her wave for a taxi. Ju-yeon claims she can do it. Also, she thanks him for the treat. Though she doesn't know about tennis, she can't get her eyes off his match. Ju-yeon leaves after complimenting him. I'm praised. What he tells himself sounds pitiful. He just wants a compliment, and it's from someone who isn't close to him. Lee Shin runs after the taxi, taking Ju-yeon home. He can't get in the cab as it's time to run. Ju-yeon feels so insecure. So she wants the driver to slow down. She also reminds him to watch out for the step. Ju-yeon doesn't get off the cab when it arrives at the hospital. Until when Lee Shin appears, she feels secure and pays the driver. He can't find the stain on his face, though Ju-yeon tries to direct him. Finally, she gotta help him clean it without noticing his changing glance. At that point in time, he's startled by a message. His brother pays 990,000 won for a meal. Turns out he's treating Ju-yeon's colleagues, trying to win their hearts, and he notices Minyoung's necklace. The head nurse says she lost the Eiffel towel decorative, which she kept in the drawer. She asks if Lee Goon sees it. He has a sip to calm himself down. After seeing Ju-yun, off his balance is deducted 770,000 won. Lee Goon even buys them each a takeaway portion. Shin calls his brother. He wonders if Goon buy a cow. Lee Goon changes the topic. He says he has made a new ID card and credit card. When Lee Shin says he just arrived at the hospital to take back his card, Lee Goon excuses that he isn't there. When Lee Shin is about to return the Eiffel towel decorative to Ju-yun, Lee Goon jumps on his brother to stop it. They lie on the grass, recalling their childhood. When they were small, Lee Goon really pampered Lee Shin. Thus, Lee Shin wanted to help Goon fulfill his dream when he was injured. When Lee Goon knows what Lee Shin thinks, he tells Shin to live for himself. Getting on well for just a few minutes, they begin to strive for the spot on the vast grass. Ju-yun passes by Lee Goon's room. She has a glimpse of the name tag and leaves. Lee Goon wakes up on the sickbed. He notices a band-aid on his face. Next morning, the head nurse checks him out. But Gukbong is there instead of Lee Goon. Because Lee Goon takes Sion to see Junman for entering a contract. Junman is so happy. Goon puts the contract in his bag. Then he gives Junman a resignation. When he's still bewildered, Goon shows his new card visit and welcomes Junman to his company for a cup of tea. Before leaving, Lee Goon thanks Junman for lending them his office. Junman curses him with anger. He threatens to spill the tea to the media about Sion's injury. However, Lee Goon already announced that Sion wouldn't go on tournaments because of her injury. She would focus on treatment for recovery. The giants in the industry decide to invest in Ju-yun's project. However, she hasn't submitted the most important report yet. Ju-yun is screwed because Lee Goon still keeps it and she doesn't know how to ask him because he lost his memory. At that time, she remembers Lee Shin. She asks the nurse for Lee Shin's contact. Her colleague shows her the live stream of his final match. So she asks for his parents' contact. Yet, his parents are watching the match. Finally, she makes an excuse to ask for Lee Goon's ID. Ji-sun has to give her the password to their house. At the last minutes of the match, Lee Shin remembers what Ju-yun and Lee Goon told him. They persuaded him to live for himself. He drops his tennis ball. After a while of self-conflict, Ju-yun makes up her mind to sneak into Lee Goon's house. Koka startles her as soon as she gets in. Teo knows Lee Goon doesn't do physiotherapy exercises yet. So he comes to Goon's room with the head nurse. They see Gukbong sleeping there. That gives them a jumpy. The head nurse hurriedly calls Ju-yun to tell her that Lee Goon had escaped from the hospital. Ju-yun doesn't pick up the phone as she's busy with Koka. She looks like a thief when searching for her own luggage. Lee Goon is driving home. Even though Lee Shin still wins, her mother still scolds him for half a day about the drop. She wants to spend more time training. It's the first time he refuses her. He picks up his bag and goes home for a bath and sleep. Ju-yun is so worried as she can't find her suitcase. The big door in the kitchen attracts her attention. She opens the door. As there is no light in the room, she pulls the curtain. Having a look around, she notices photos of Lee Goon when he was small. Ju-yun can be sure that it's Lee Goon's room. Indeed, she finds her luggage under the desk. When she's leaving, she sees someone getting in. But there's nowhere to hide. She acts fool when Lee Goon opens the door. She raises her head when Lee Goon gets near. She has a shy smile and speaks politely. That's not all what happens. When Lee Shin is on the way home, Ian stops his car. They once dated each other. They kissed in the parking lot. Lee Goon is about to confess to his first love. When she's waiting for the lift, he wants to make up an encounter of fate. He runs fast upstairs and the lift opens. He's stunned when Teo and Minyoung are also there. However, it can't stop him from confessing. He has no idea that the yellow tulip he wants to give her is broken when the door closed. I've found a flower as beautiful as you. He stands up with surprise looking at the flower. Fast enough, he comes up with an idea to save the situation. He's still very confident despite the awkward atmosphere. No matter what happens to a man, he can't lose his face. Lee Goon wants to improve his career when his love fails. Materials are the strongest guarantees of love. However, Lee Shin took back his credit card. So Goon can't even pay the deposit of contracts with the athletes. For this reason, he comes out of hospital and finds the investors. That scares Ju-yun. If he meets his old acquaintances on the way, everything will be screwed. Thereby, she finds a way to go with him as a medical guardian. When she gets in the car, Lee Goon gives her stare of love. He takes her to see a tycoon. As confident as he is, Lee Goon claims he's giving the tycoon a chance. That cracks the tycoon up. He orders his guards to kick them out. Lee Goon comes up with a plan in a blink of an eye and tries to flatten the tycoon. He hopes the tycoon won't bet on number 5 horse. That interests the tycoon. Lee Goon analyzes it for him. Next, Ju-yun gives an advice as a doctor. The number 5 horse looks anxious when making a sound like a frightened kid. When the tycoon wants to know who she is, Lee Goon pushes her forward and introduces her as his company's doctor who takes care of the athlete's mental health. Ju-yun grinds her teeth with anger. How to convince the tycoon with just their words. He wants to know which horse to bet on. Lee Goon is observing for a long while. When the tickets are sold out, Lee Goon chooses number 3. The tycoon loses his temper and kicks them out. Ju-yun thinks he should have picked a random number instead of taking so long. Everyone is agog when the result is announced on the speaker. Number 3 horse won the game. The tycoon invites them back for a talk. Willows are weak yet they bind otherwood. Lee Goon pretends like he's very busy. He hopes they'll see each other later. Ju-yun is curious about his abilities. Why does he need an investment? His answer surprises her. Returning to the hospital, Tae-oh calls her. See you in the meeting room at 8 p.m. Her stupid look annoys Lee Goon. He can't get why he loses to such a scumbag. At night, Lee Goon is taken to the OR for an illegal test. Before the anesthetic takes effect, he wonders why Tae-oh isn't meeting with Ju-yun. Why is he there? Ju-yun sets up candles and petals in the meeting room. She's ready to confess her love to Tae-oh. She has no idea that the professor demanded Tae-oh to steal her research result. They transfers Lee Goon to the department where Tae-oh is working. Their purpose is to carry out a new project on Goon's body. Ju-yun waits for Tae-oh for so long. She sees him passing by the room. Following him with her curiosity, she witnesses his true face. He's dating Min-young, a member of Ju-yun's team. However, he doesn't make himself clear to Ju-yun, because he uses her to help Min-young do the tasks. Finishing their talk, Tae-oh is coming to the meeting room. Ju-yun runs as fast as she can to clear the scene. It takes her too long to blow out the candles. She handles them with the fire extinguisher. As clumsy as she is, she gets dirt all over her body. Thanks to Min-young's jealousy, Ju-yun can escape from the awkward situation. Waking up, Lee Goon comes to the meeting room and sees how painful she is. He tells her not act pitifully. It's good to give Tae-oh a slap. Ju-yun blames herself for loving him unilaterally. It's not Tae-oh's fault. She wants Lee Goon to mind his business. Out of anger, Lee Goon warns Tae-oh not to hurt Ju-yun again. He isn't sure what he can do when he loses control. Lee Shin meets Ju-yun by chance on the way home. Every time he met her, she looked so sad. He can't leave her there. Shin buys him a coffee and cracks her up with jokes. Lee Shin doesn't know that he himself has feelings for Ju-yun. The next day, Min-young is late at work. Ju-yun doesn't know how to face her. When she notices Min-young's necklace, the decorative is no longer precious to her. Bad things keep coming. The head nurse lets her know that Lee Goon is discharged from hospital. Tae-oh tells tales to his bosses that Ju-yun had a conflict with the patient. The professor criticizes Ju-yun for her failure in management. Those despicable guys want to steal her research. Finally, Lee Goon founds his own company. His family sends him congratulations. Yet, it bothers Lee Goon. Coca runs around leaving his hair everywhere. His father's old-fashioned habit is annoying. His mother does care about food hygiene, so she leaves lots of kimchi in the fridge. Tae-oh meets Ju-yun and asks her to give his research to his department. Because the experiment might be interrupted and he doesn't want her efforts to be ruined. In her imagination, she throws water at him in a huff. Yet, she isn't encourages enough to do it. After a while of thinking carefully, she decides to give her research to Tae-oh. As Tae-oh's office is messy, she still thoughtfully helps him clean it up. That's when she realizes it's their plan. Ju-yun doesn't expect Tae-oh to be that despicable. He put a patient under anesthetic without letting him know. Tae-oh even tells her to be elegant despite she's angry. She lets go of his collar and scatter the garbage on his desk, showing him how to be elegant. Then she throws the decorative in the trash bin. Lee Goon opens the door and sees Ju-yun all wet. Ju-yun smiles and tells him not be surprised as she glances at the address on his ID. She gives him no chance to speak when harping on about the same thing. Is your floor made of granite? Be careful. If you slip, you'll get rick your waist. Lee Goon gets it, but he doesn't speak it out. He still questions why she comes. Ju-yun claims she doesn't need health insurance and other benefits. She just needs a place to live. Then she asks him where she can stay. As he's still bewildered, she says she's asking him for a job. I want to be your team's doctor. That's how she begins to share a home. The first is Ji-sun's love for her son. Lee Shin is having a nap after an intense training. Ji-sun figures out the blister on his sole of the foot. She forces Junman to tell her why. He doesn't want her to mess with the sponsor. As for Ji-sun, she doesn't care about that. She carries the shoes to the sponsor's office. Despite facing the huge indemnification, she still tears the contract to protect her son. Now, listen to the truth about the kiss between Lee Shin and Sae-yen. At the class meeting, it was Sae-yen hanging the medal on the tree. She caught sight of Lee Shin in the meeting. Then she got in his car, kissed and slapped him. It was because Lee Shin always avoided her. That made her feel like she was dumped. The kiss meant they were still in love, and the slap referred that she dumped him first. Sae-yen keeps the necklace, but she doesn't realize Lee Goon. Perhaps she mistook the brothers. After Ju-yun knew the true face of Tae-oh, she takes the initiative in finding the investors. From someone who was fired, she now gets the special treatment. They want to observe Lee Goon's life. She handles those who plan to kick her out of the project. But when she asks Lee Goon for a job, he already changes his feelings for her. I no longer like you. He refuses to employ her and kicks her out. She makes herself pitiful as it's raining and her phone is out of battery. Not enough to change his mind, when he's carrying her out, his heart begins to race. You can charge your phone in my guest room and leave. Next morning, he is amazed with what he sees. Ju-yun doesn't leave. She even orders breakfast. Lee Goon questions, "Are you playing me? You chase me away when I pursue you. But now you're stick to me when I give up on you. What do you want? You're my patient. I'll be responsible for you till the end." At that time, Lee Goon's phone rings. Ju-yun overhears that an athlete has a trouble with the rehabilitation. She believes it's a chance to show herself. No matter what, she'll try to make Lee Goon hire her. Yet, Lee Goon doesn't take her there with him. She has to shamelessly follow him. "What are you doing? Are you really treating me this way? Lee Goon, do you really want to go without me?" Ju-yun bets it to change his mind. "Accept me to your company of I can persuade Cha-seon." They have the same idea. However, it's just the beginning of the nightmare. She wants to know why Cha-seon refused to rehabilitate. The thing is that she can't understand what Seon says. Seon even fools her to the rehabilitation room and makes fun of her. Lee Goon laughs so hard. Lee Goon asks the security guard to return her luggage. She isn't home yet, but he can't reach her on the phone. Ju-yun encounters Sae-yen on the way home. Aeon teaches her to drown her sorrow in drinks. Soon later, Sae-yen regrets it. "You're so cute with your fluffy hair." Under the influence, Ju-yun thinks the man sent by Sae-yen's father is a bad guy. She acts as a hero. Yet, Sae-yen can take him down with just a strike. It also brings Ju-yun back to Earth. The security guard realizes Ju-yun when she gets into the building. It's not easy for her to sneak in like last night. Sae-yen finds a way to bring Ju-yun in through the basement parking garage. Seeing Lee Goon's parking slot is empty, Ju-yun believes he's not home yet, so she waits there. Aang goes mad. She asks Ju-yun to go home for a night. Ju-yun wonders who prepares mattress for her. She even gets Aeon lie down next to her. A funny scene is made. They sleep on the parking slot with a blanket. Next morning when they wake up, everyone stares at them with questions. Sae-yen fails to wake Ju-yun up. Out of choice, she leaves Ju-yun there and goes to buy. Lee Goon hears that the investor is going to his company for a discussion. He gets to the basement car parking to pick him up. He kicks Ju-yun when she's sleeping on his parking slot. Ju-yun wakes up and blames him for entering her room without knocking. Lee Goon asks her back, "Why do you sleep on my parking slot?" His question brings her back to Earth. As the investor is coming, Lee Goon requests her to leave. "I have to welcome a very important guest." Ju-yun takes a chance to ask for the key card to his room. When he ignores her, she wants to go with him despite her body smells like alcohol. Finally, Lee Goon has to give the key CA.RD to his company. Ju-yun and Aeon get home. When Ju-yun gets through the gate, Aeon closes it. "Get inside first. Do you want to get hit? Something wrong?" Before that, Sae-yen stayed overnight. The little boy gives her a sign. But she does not know the seriousness of it. Yun-sil whipped her up. The investor offers a condition. Lee Goon is required to enter a contract with Sion before the national team recruits. The head of the hospital doesn't want to miss out on the investor. However, he's determined to kick Ju-yun out of the project. For this reason, he requires Tae-oh to find out Ju-yun's foible. If she doesn't, he gotta make it up. To persuade Sion, Ju-yun studies about tennis at the library. She even learns the basic moves of the sport. Lee Shin is very happy about that. He feels bad when he can't find an excuse to ask her out. He teaches her how to play tennis. Her ponytail lashes at his face. Next, he shows her how to use the racket with left hand. He gets a slap by her ponytail again. Ju-yun gets excited and wants to try striking with both hands. Lee Shin learns that she's going to the rehabilitation center for Cha Sion. He asks for Ju-yun's phone number and invites her a meal tomorrow. They both don't know they get a companion. Lee Goon buys a phone charger for Ju-yun. Encountering her on the way home, he tells himself, "You're a clumsy girl with high self-esteem." He follows after her and notices a man spying on her. Finally, Ju-yun smells something. She's about to make a call for help. Yet, her phone is out of battery. Hence, she begins to run. The stalker runs after her. Lee Goon gives a kick and catches him. It's none other than Tae-oh. He's trying to find Ju-yun's foible. Earlier when Min-young told Tae-oh that Lee Goon ran over the test piece, Ju-yun and Lee Goon didn't know each other at all. Why did she become Lee Goon's first love after the surgery? Tae-oh lies to Goon that he wants to apologize for cheating on her. By chance, he asks Lee Goon why Ju-yun is his first love. Lee Goon doesn't give him a care. Someone rings the bell when Ju-yun is going to her room. She thinks Lee Goon is back and it's actually Lee Shin. "Why are you here? What are you to my brother?" "My first love." Lee Goon's claim shocks Lee Shin. Will Lee Shin gives it up to his brother. Ready for some hints? Lee Shin really was part of the cause why Lee Goon jumped. Professor Han tells Shin if Goon gets back part of his memories, he can remember everything like the domino effect. Lee Shin is very tense. Why is he nervous? Lee Goon finds an invitation in his car. The date of the meeting was when he had an accident. His intuition tells him that he did attend the meeting. However, his parents said he fell off the stairs. At the same time, he figures out that the memory card of the dashcam disappeared. It's Lee Shin who is keeping it. Lee Goon's medal is also in Shin's safe. Lee Shin recalls what happened looking at the medal. He tried to save his brother and apologized. Lee Shin receives photos from someone. Those are photos taken when he met Se-yen. He doesn't care as Se-yen's father is a gangster. He simply thinks it's just a warning from her father. Among those photos, there's a photo taken when someone grabbed Lee Goon by his collar. How curious! Why did Lee Shin hate his brother too much to push him into the river? Lee Shin gives up on his crush for his brother. He even acts like he meets her for the first time. Seeing how close they are, Shin is very sad. He tries to control his facial expression and excuses himself to leave. When Shin gets home, Ji-sun smells alcohol from his body. His father is fine when an adult like him drinks. Ji-sun angrily tells him to give up on an athlete's life if he wishes to live a normal life. She speaks to him with harsh words. Lee Shin kneels down begging her. "Your Highness, please spare me. How scary when living with a mother of control. These brothers are pitiful." At least, his brother can speak up his dissatisfaction. Shin can't because he wants to please everyone. Lee Goon walks out of the bathroom without clothes. He's living there alone. He walks straight to the fridge. At that point in time, he notices Ju-yun sitting on the other side. He hides himself behind the fridge's wing. As she doesn't notice him, he crawls on the floor. She catches sight of him when he covers his body with an apron. Presuming that he's tidying it up, she stands up with an intention to help him. Lee Goon freaks out. He wraps the apron around his bottom and keeps saying. When she turns around again, he wraps the apron around his neck. Suddenly, Ju-yun notices a new phone charger next to the TV. She wants to know if Lee Goon buys it for her. Lee Goon crawls to his room. When Ju-yun knocks on the door, he already put on a nightgown. Goon claims that he didn't buy it. He even arrogantly states that he'll recruit her if she can prove he bought it. When they watch the previous matches of Cha Sion, she gets closer and closer to him. It goes on till when they sits at close quarters. Lee Goon accidentally touches her hand when he reaches for chips. She asks her since when they sits at quarters. "Do you get closer to me?" In the morning, Lee Goon enjoys beef. She doesn't consider herself a stranger. Lee Goon doesn't share his meal with her. Lee Goon gives her an excuse. We might develop feelings if we have a meal together. What if I fall for you again? So, Ju-yeon enjoys her salad but still cares about beef. Lee-gun doesn't bother to share it with her. Salad is no longer charming to her. Sayen's father cut off her cards since she left home. Can't use her cards, she digs up the beer cans and enjoys them. Sung-hyun catches her red-handed. He can see how resilient she is and he even gives his piggy bank to her. Family helps each other overcome difficulties. Sayen wants to get back to her countryside for finding her first love with the piggy bank. Her self-conflict keeps her from making a decision. At that time, she sees Lee Shin on the other side of the road and comes up with an idea. Shin lies to her mother he's practicing on the way to meet Ju-yeon. Sayen's sudden appearance startles him. He asks her to get out. There's nothing good at all whenever they meet. She threatens him with his lie. Being caught, he has no choice to take her to the countryside. He feels really pity for his car. She gets on well with the native there. Lee Shin has to do heavy work due to her. Aen is busy looking for her first love. Shin helps her carry a heavy bag of seeds and sow them on the soil. He has never experienced such a thing. Carelessly, he falls and drops one of his shoes. He almost curses at her in his fury. When Aen looks so sad, he's no longer mad at her. Shin tries to make her laugh. However, her temper even gets worse. Lee Shin's afraid of death if she keeps acting like that. As a result, he drives away, leaving her there alone. Cha Seon is waiting for health consultation at the hospital. She is treated like a VIP thanks to Ju-yeon's relationship. Ju-yeon presumes Seon will change her attitude. Unexpectedly, Seon even hates her more. She knows Ju-yeon doesn't care about Lee-gun, but she pretends to treat him well. Seon is such a self-righteous person. Sayen calls Ju-yeon. Ju-yeon decides to travel to the countryside to pick Sayen up. Lee-gun is so curious when she tells him to drop her at the bus station. Who can ask her to travel such a long way? So he wants to take her there and sees who it is. He stops the car when arriving in the Suburban. Gun tells her to close her eyes. He gets off the car and takes something from the trunk. Peeping on the mirror, Ju-yeon sees him holding a shovel. She trembles with fear, thinking that Gun will end her life. Ju-yeon doesn't know what to do. In fact, he just wants to bury an animal crashed on the road. As soon as they finish, Sayen calls Ju-yeon again. She just met an old friend who is taking her back to Seoul. Ju-yeon grinds her teeth with annoyance. On the way, Sayen tells Lee Shin she came there to find her first love. Meanwhile, Ju-yeon shares with Lee-gun about her father. Ju-yeon's father puts his patients above his family. In the end, one of his patients murdered him. That's why she swore not to live like him. She always keeps a distance from her patients. One day, she saw herself in her patient's sunglasses. She wished he would stop talking and leave soon. How long did she need to hear him? His mental disease can't be cured anyway. When would he leave? Yet, the patient considers her a hope. She agrees with Cha Seon's opinion about her. She isn't ready or willing to help the patients. Lee-gun speaks up his thought. It's also a comfort when you hear them out. Seon blacks out when feeling too stressful during the recruitment of the national team. On the way to the hospital, Ju-yeon is well aware that Seon is acting. Ake up. There's no one around. Seon sits up and explains that she really felt dizzy. Knowing the cause, Ju-yeon hopes Seon won't be too harsh on herself. If Seon's easy on herself, she will let her fans down. Moreover, no one will recruit her if she doesn't show herself. Seon's happy again when they comforts her. Ju-yeon wants to know why Gun didn't tell Seon though he spent a night analyzing the data. Because he's so sure that she won't be accepted to the national team. Besides, he prepares another choice, which helps Seon find a suitable partner. Lee-gun finds a way to handle the teams arranged by the president. He wants Lee Shin and Seon to team up for the match. Ju-yeon finds the bill of the phone charger in Lee-gun's pocket. He snatches it before she has a careful look. Due to the bill, Lee-gun has to accept her to his team. No more reserved, she presses him down on the grass. The atmosphere becomes magical. At that time, Lee-gun receives the news that Cha Seon is accepted. He no longer pushes Ju-yeon away. Arrogant Lee-gun wants Seon to welcome Ju-yeon. Yet, Seon passes it to him. Gukbong wonders why Lee Shin always refuses to play in pairs. But he changes his mind this time. Lee Shin says it's all that he can do for him. Gukbong doesn't know Shin is talking about Lee-gun. Lee Shin feels lost when seeing Ju-yeon with Lee-gun. Ju-yeon closely follows after Lee-gun, asking him if she is accepted. Lee Goon wants her to get home with him as she'll be busy tomorrow. Ju-yun is very happy with that. Looming at Lee Goon's smiley face, Gukbong is happy when his friend can escape from his dark past. When Lee Shin lets him know Ju-yun is Goon's first love, Gukbong can't smile. At night, Sion's interpreter can't make it. The first meeting with the coach is coming. Lee Goon gets really anxious. Ju-yun thinks of in. Se-yen is very happy with a chance to make a living. Lee Goon parks his car at the same car park when he attended the class meeting. He has a sudden headache. What happened that day flooded back in his mind. He doesn't know why his memory is interrupted. Ju-yun and Se-yun encounters Gukbong when they arrive. Gukbong personally asks Ju-yun to leave Lee Goon immediately, or else 3 of them will get hurt. She doesn't get it. Out of choice, Gukbong has to mention Lee Shin. Ju-yun remembered what Lee Goon said. The guy who stole his first love is the one who is really close to him. Lee Shin overhears them. He wants to know what Gukbong means. Gukbong supposes that he is acting fool, so he tell about what happened at the class meeting. Shin then learns that it's Se-yen who is Goon's first love. Ju-yun isn't his first love for sure. Se-yen and Lee Goon get in to see Sion's coach at the same time. Se-yen introduces herself as an interpreter. They don't realize each other. The rich kid is in need of money for the first time. Her father cuts off her card when she left home to find her first love. Fortunately, her friend helps her get the first job. She excitedly takes a selfie and invites Ju-yun to have dinner. Se-yen has no idea that her first love is standing right next to her. Lee Goon curiously leans his head towards Se-yen when she calls Ju-yun. When he sees Se-yen's bracelet, he gets so jealous. Because Ju-yun weaved it on his wrist yesterday. He thought she made it for him. Lee Goon discovers someone else in the car on the way. Wait, when did you get in my car? Aren't we going together? She's so bold. And falls into a doze. Lee Goon doesn't know how to start a conversation. Giving a start, he sends her a message by mistake. When Ju-yun sees Goon's message, she tells herself he finally remembers her. She helped him find an interpreter. He must have wanted to thank me, and then she gets mad at his message. The interpreter is sleeping. Bring her home. Lee Goon doesn't how she can sleeping sound in someone's car. No wonder why Ju-yun has to travel a long way to pick her up. Se-yen wonders why Lee Goon knows where she lives. Lee Goon doesn't let her go with the bracelet easily. He hasn't seen Ju-yun yet, so he requires Se-yen to call Ju-yun. Se-yen reckons that he's worried if she gets home alone. What a warm guy. Her compliment excites Lee Goon. The longer Se-yen looks at Lee Goon, the more familiar she feels. Lee Goon denies when she says they seem to meet somewhere. When Ju-yun appears, Se-yen excitedly gets out of the car. At that point in time, Lee Shin, who was absent from the class meeting, calls Ju-yun. Lee Goon drives away to talk to Shin. He even forgets Ju-yun. Ju-yun mentioned the class meeting, reminding Goon to thank her. Yet, he ignored her. After he left, she complains to Se-yen about him. Lee Goon is the most impolite man she's ever met. Anne doesn't think so. In her eyes, Lee Goon is arrogant yet warm. Lee Shin acts cute, so Lee Goon forgives him. Shin wonders if Goon still has feelings for Ju-yun. His question irritates Goon. Why is there dog's hair? Why do you let the dog sleeping on the bed? Lee Goon dreams of the moment he's on the grass with Ju-yun. It's like a romantic dream. In his dream, Ju-yun wants to kiss him. In fact, it's Coca licking his face. Lee Goon kisses him back and it wakes him with a jump. Lee Shin tells himself that his brother doesn't spare his dog. Ha ha ha, Lee Goon gets mad at Coca. The first day at work, Ju-yun dresses up as a princess. Professor Han reminds her not to develop feelings for her patient. Thus, she gets changed. Lee Goon buys a bouquet for her on the way to work. Arriving at the company, he notices that Ju-yun installs a smart lock on her room's door. Being on edge, throws the bouquet on sofa. Ju-yun gives him a small notebook, demanding him to write a diary of his emotions, which is good for mental consultant. Lee Goon only writes down a few words. She's curious why he's so fast. He only left an angry icon. In the report Ju-yun submitted to Professor Han, Ju-yun describes Lee Goon as a man of high self-esteem and narcissism. She takes off her blouse, revealing her new outfits. Professor Han wonders if she's attending an audition. He repeats his reminder of her abnormality. If you fall for your patient, Ju-yun interrupts him. He hopes she can separate work and private life. But when the head nurse gets in with a big box, he doesn't do what he taught Ju-yun. He can't get eyes of the head nurse. Ju-yun teases him back about work and private life separation. Do you like the head nurse? She is a single mom who has to work hard to make a living. I'm a single strong man. Why don't I help her with carrying heavy stuff? Ju-yun is surprised at a thing. It's not the first time Lee Goon wrote the Diary of Emotions. Professor Han asked him to write it 10 years ago. Ji-sun encounters her friends when taking Lee Shin to the hospital for a health check. They admire her for having an excellent son like Lee Shin. Their compliment flatters her. Then they talk about Lee Goon. It's better if your eldest son is understanding. Why doesn't he just stay home and drink like he did? Ju-yun passes by right at that time. Ji-sun gets her in to save her face. She introduces Ju-yun as Lee Goon's girlfriend. Professor Han hears it when he go upstairs. Ju-yun is too confused to explain herself. Lee Shin wedges himself in, causing a mess. Professor Han's mouth falls open in astonishment. Ji-sun's friends pose a question. You should call her sister-in-law. We look better together, right? Ju-yun begs Lee Shin to help her find Lee Goon's diary. If Goon finds it first, he might take back all of his memories. Lee Goon pretends to be curious about his memories. The hotel staff can't give him the footage due to the privacy regulation. Lee Goon can't give up. He comes to the hospital for the record of his accident. Lee Goon comes to the bridge and realized he was drowned. He wants to know the reason why his family lied to them. Suddenly, he has a short in breath. Parts of his memories flood back in his head. Someone grabs his neck. At this time, Lee Shin receives the news that his brother is digging into the accident. After hearing it from Lee Shin, Ju-yun tries to reach Lee Goon on the phone. But he doesn't pick up. He's going to the police station for the records. Though he is sure to submit the doctor's confirmation, the police chief still finds something strange about it. Lee Shin searches through his home. He finally finds his brother's diary on the shelf. Shin can't let anyone read it, including Ju-yun, who asked him to find it. Thanks to Cha Seon, Ju-yun knows where Lee Goon is. They order for the same food. When Ju-yun moves her belongings to the company, she doesn't let Lee Goon help her carry them to avoid misunderstanding. Still, the security guard misunderstands them. He believes they're flirting with each other. Ju-yun blames Lee Goon for acting as a busybody WHE. And he helps her make the bed. It makes him unhappy. She falls when hanging on the curtain and Lee Goon catches her. He then throws her on the bed. She has to clean up her room and feelings. When Ju-yun knows his parents are already outside, she hides herself in the balcony. Ji-sun feels hot so that she comes to the balcony. Lee Goon stops her, asking her to take a rest. He can do everything by himself. Ju-yun feels so bad. Ji-sun comes to teach her son to pursue Ju-yun. When he loudly denies his feelings for her, Ju-yun feels unhappy. At that time, Koka notices her. He doesn't leave despite Ju-yun's direct. Ji-sun catches sight of Koka. Lee Goon hugs Koka in his arms. His father is amazed when he kisses Koka. Ju-yun takes the chance. She has light foot and hides herself behind the sofa. Without making a sound, she successfully gets into Lee Goon's room. As Ji-sun can't open the lid of the container, she asks her husband for help. The lid is open, yet Lee Goon gets hurt by the hot soup. It's way too hot. Lee Goon screams and holds his crotch. Lee Goon doesn't let himself take off his pants in front of his parents. By the way, Ju-yun sneaks out of the condo. Yet, she is walking barefoot. When she's returning to her room for footwear, Ji-sun walks out of the bathroom. Ju-yun has to get out of there barefoot. Lee Shin runs there to see Ju-yun. As she's barefoot, he gives her a pair of shoes in his car's trunk. Holding the towel with excitement, when he's putting the shoes on her feet, Lee Goon shows up. He drops a pair of slippers on the ground. He wants to know why she walks out barefoot. Perhaps she doesn't want anyone to know they're living together. Ju-yun doesn't want anyone to misunderstand her. Then she puts on the slippers. Lee Shin feels heartbroken. Ju-yun blames Lee Goon for not bringing her slippers. What are you doing? I'm startled. Don't let me hear your complaint. The reaction between is like a stab through Lee Shin's heart. He's hurt more when Goon thanks him for lending her shoes. The security guard watches Lee Goon carrying her back inside. Can't get what he saw earlier out of his head. Lee Shin stands up, tearing the renewal of contact in front of Junman. After saying sorry to Junman, he drives straight to Lee Goon's office. He doesn't want to give up. Junman boils over with rage. When he throws the photos away, he notices a photo in which Lee Shin was grabbing Lee Goon's collar. Junman grabs Lee Shin's collar after he rings the bell. Lee Goon reaches the door and watches Junman forcing Lee Shin to enter a contract with him. He even knows why Lee Goon jumped into the river. Hearing them, Ju-yeon asks Lee Goon for a talk. She will explain everything to him. Lee Goon feels so glum. He can't believe that she also lied to him. When Goon opens the door, Junman and Lee Shin are longer there. Junman threatens Shin with the photo. He seems to know why Lee Shin tries to cover up his brother's accident. Showing Lee Shin the photo, Junman asks if it reminds Lee Shin of what happened back then. Lee brothers recall what happened. No one knows if Lee Goon remembers something important. For sure, Junman finds the length of Shin's feet. It's you who pushed him. The end. Watch the full series of this recap excites you. Thank you for watching. Please like, comments, and subscribe.